Rob van Straten, CEO of Skytree, direct air capture company headquartered in Amsterdam in the Netherlands.
And to start things off, just tell us a little bit about Skytree, what you do.
So we develop and manufacture machines that take CO2 out of the ambient air, the air around us, at the location where you would need that CO2, either to use it or to sequester it permanently in storage.
And you are on stage here today at our North American CO2 Summit. Can you give us a flavour of what you discussed?
Sure. So I invited the CO2 industrial community, gathered here at the gasworld, to collaborate with a new source of CO2 as we provide technology for it, so that next to sourcing CO2 from fossil fuel sources and other sources, we start to use CO2 that we take from the air and replace those fossil fuel supply chains by atmospheric, so that we neutralize future emissions.
And looking at the decentralised part of your business, why is this so important to the industry?
So, two reasons. First of all, it is very beneficial if you generate the CO2 at the location where you need that CO2, because you avoid transport. It's also a little bit more reliable because you have a machine that you can turn on and off. So there's a constant supply of CO2. But also, if you think about decentralized CO2, that means that there will be a lot of machines at the locations of the users of CO2. Now, if you imagine that you can also use these machines to build direct air capture parks for large-scale removal and storage, you unite that industry so that you can do mass production of machines and cost down, which is really necessary for DAC to be successful.
So looking at sequestration versus utilisation, which side of the fence are Skytree on?
Well, I would argue that there's no versus, as it reinforces itself. But as I just said, decentralized CO2 requires machines. And we also play big time actually in the sequestration market segment, but not by building a large site for sequestration, but building a large park of DAC machines.
And I'd be interested in some of the possible applications or use cases where this could be used.
Yeah, so the use cases are the same as, throughout the industry is common at the moment. It requires a certain level of purities or liquid or not. So that's also what we do. But in addition to what is happening here in the gas world community, so to speak, is we also focus on greenhouses, which is not part of the supply chain, so to speak, because they burn gas on site, specifically in Europe, Australia, Japan, and here in North America, to generate CO2 to boost crop yield. So that's for us a very large market, and it's also a sort of a home market, as we're based in the Netherlands. The Netherlands is a super innovative country when it comes down to greenhouse technology.
And you mentioned that you're from the Netherlands there, so what brings you here to this US event?
I was in Innsbruck for the first time at the gasworld event. I thought it was super valuable because this is where the CO2 industry is. And we as a climate tech company, we want to collaborate with the CO2 industry and through the CO2 industry with the large emitters, as we think it should be all united in one CO2 universe, so that we keep on supplying CO2 to the businesses that need it, but then taken from a circular source and achieve negative emissions by permanent storage of CO2 that we get from the atmosphere.
Sure, and my final question for you, Rob, if you had a message for those watching who might not have been in the room today, what would that message be?
I think it's the message that I just shared, that collaboration is the key to success. So, the divide between emitters, climate tech, and then the CO2 communities being somewhere in the middle is just not going to solve the issue. It's not going to solve the issue of continuous supply for the businesses that need CO2, as well as finding solutions to reduce the levels of CO2 in the atmosphere. Because as I said on stage, we need to reduce the levels of CO2 in the atmosphere for our future.
Fantastic. Well, Rob, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.